Battle of the Shows Night 2 of 2022 event by Colton Dennis. Hello everyone and welcome to the second night of Battle of the Shows. And tonight we have two of the biggest matches ever, said announcer number 2. That's right, both shows will be in a male and female battle royal. To see who is the top show, said announcer number 1. I can't wait any longer, said announcer number 1. Then let's head down to the ring, said announcer number 1. Bell dings. This match is scheduled for one fall, and is a show versus show battle royal. Now the first team to eliminate all the members of their opponent's team will win. Introducing the challengers first, Team Hatred Slam, and their opponents, Team Blood Rumble, said announcer number 3. Bell dings. All the women start attacking each other. A group us attacking. Taz. Taz is leaning against the ropes. The group lifts Taz over the top rope. Taz falls onto the floor. Taz is the first one eliminated. Who'd think that? Asked announcer number 2. Not me, said announcer number 1. Knockout tries lifting Ivy over the top rope. Rose approaches from behind Knockout, grabs her leg, then lifts her over the top rope. Ivy lands onto the ledge of the ring. Knockout lands onto the floor. There goes Knockout, said announcer number 2. The Oracle hits Rose's back, then punches Ivy. Ivy is swaying. The Oracle kicks Rose's stomach, then throws her over the top rope. Rose lands onto the ledge of the ring. The Oracle punches Rose. Rose is swaying in the ledge of the ring. The Oracle punches Ivy. Ivy is swaying on the ledge of the ring again. The Oracle kicks Rose's stomach. Rose groans. The Oracle sees Ivy swaying, then runs at her. Ivy pulls down the top rope. The Oracle goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. The Oracle is eliminated, said announcer number 2. I thought she'd last longer, said announcer number 1. Willow grabs Hope, runs towards the ropes, then throws her over the top rope. Hope is holding onto the top rope. Willow bounces off of the ropes, then does a baseball slide onto Hope's back. Hope falls onto the floor. Hope's gone. Get it? Asked announcer number 2. Yes, said announcer number 1. Ivory lands onto the ledge of the ring, then punches Desire. Desire groans. Divine goes to punch Ivory. Ivory blocks, then punches Divine. Desire screams, runs, then knocks Ivory off the ledge of the ring. Ivory lands onto the floor. Ivory's eliminated. Looks like those elephant tusks didn't work, said announcer number 2. Good one, said announcer number 1. Sapphire kicks Angel's stomach, sets her up for powerbomb, then lifts her up. Angel punches Sapphire's head, then does a Hurricane Rana onto her. Sapphire goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. Sapphire's gone, said announcer number 2. The numbers are getting smaller, said announcer number 1. Curtains being lifted over the top rope. The group of Team Hatred Slam attacks the group. Curtains lands onto the ledge of the ring, then starts punching people. Onyxis runs, then shoulder blocks Curtains. Curtains falls off of the ledge of the ring, then lands onto the floor. Their XX champion is gone, said announcer number 2. I can't believe that, said announcer number 1. Onyxia is punching Venus. Venus swaying on the ropes. Onyxia goes to clothesline Venus. Venus ducks. Onyxia turns around. Venus does reverse roundhouse kick into Onyxia. Onyxia goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. There goes Onyxia, said announcer number 2. Violet is hitting Willow's back. Willow groaning. I'm the great of all time, said Violet, raising her right arm. Willow lifts Violet onto her shoulders, then throws her over the top rope. Violet is hitting Willow's back again, then lands onto the ledge of the ring. Willow is groaning. Violet sets Willow up for a suplex, then lifts Willow. Willow is squirming, lands onto her feet inside of the ring, then hangs Violet off of the top rope. Violet is swaying. Wildflower catches Violet's right hand. "I got you," said Wildflower. Willow stands up, then dropkicks Wildflower's arms. Wildflower lets go of Violet's arm. Violet lands onto the floor. "Violet eliminated," said announcer number 2. Karma hits Willow's back. Willow groans. Karma lifts Willow onto her right shoulder, then walks towards the ropes. Willow grabs the top rope, starts squirming, lands onto her feet behind Karma, then lifts her over the top rope. Karma is holding onto the top rope. Willow bounces off of the ropes on the opposite side of the ring, then does a baseball slide onto Karma's back. Karma loses her grip, then falls onto the floor. "Karma's eliminated," said announcer number 1. Eternity tries lifting Desire over the top rope. Elastic dropkicks Eternity's back. Eternity groans. Elastic grabs Eternity's head, then runs towards the ropes. Eternity reverses it, then throws Elastic over the top rope. Elastic lands onto the ledge of the ring. Eternity runs towards Elastic. Elastic shoulder blocks Eternity's stomach, puts her head between her legs, then lifts her over the top rope. Eternity lands onto the floor. "I guess she won't last Eternity in this match," said announcer number 2. "Very funny," said announcer number 1. Angel goes for a Hurricane Rana. Aura blocks it, lifts Angel up, then runs towards the ropes. Angel grabs the top rope, then pulls Aura over the top rope. Aura lands onto the floor. Angel lands onto the ledge of the ring. "I could feel the aura," said announcer number 2. Angel pulls herself up onto the ledge of the ring. Rose runs, then knocks Angel off of the ledge of the ring. Angel falls onto the floor. "Angel's eliminated," said announcer number 1. Blue Rose knees Ivy's stomach. Ivy groans. Blue Rose runs towards the ropes, then throws Ivy over them. Ivy lands onto the floor. "No more Ivy. Because I didn't scratch," said announcer number 2. Tigress superkicks Blue Rose. Superkicks Lights. Superkicks Venus. Superkicks Willow, then goes to superkick Tempest. Tempest ducks, runs, bounces off of the ropes, then does a diving forearm onto Tigress. Tigress groans. Tempest picks Tigress up, then throws her over the top rope. Tigress lands onto the floor. "Tigress has been eliminated," said announcer number 1. Both Desire and Divine grab Lights, then throw her over the top rope. Lights is holding onto the top rope. Desire approaches Lights, then sticks her torso through the middle rope. Lights kicks Desire's head. Desire falls onto the mat, then holds her head. Lights pulls herself up onto the ledge of the ring. Divine runs at Lights. Lights shoulder blocks Divine's stomach. Divine groans. Lights jumps over the top rope, then puts a head scissors onto Divine. Divine breaks hold, grabs Lights' leg, then locks in an ankle lock onto her. Lights is screaming, wraps her arms around the top rope, then pulls Divine. Divine goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. "Divine," said Desire. Camille kicks Tempest's stomach, chops her chest, then bounces her off of the ropes. Tempest bounces off of the ropes on the opposite side of the ring, then does a diving forearm onto Camille. Camille goes limp. Tempest picks Camille up, then throws her over the top rope. Camille lands onto the floor. "Camille's eliminated," said announcer number 1. Lights is still on the ledge of the ring. Desire goes to punch Lights. Light's shoulder blocks Desire's stomach. Desire groans. Divine grabs Lights' right leg. Lights is struggling. Desire runs, then knocks Lights off of the ledge of the ring. Lights lands onto the floor. Desire turned off the lights, said announcer number 2. Rose is lifting Tempest over the top rope. Onyxis slowly approaches Rose. Tempest wraps her arms around the ropes, then nods her head. Onyxis lifts Rose over the top rope. Rose lands onto the floor. Rose is eliminated, said announcer number 1. Elastic is slowly lifting Blue Rose over the top rope. Blue Rose is struggling, holding onto the ropes, wraps her legs around Elastic's waist, then pulls her over the top rope. Elastic is holding onto the top rope. Both Blue Rose and Elastic are kicking each other. Blue Rose lifts herself up onto the ledge of the ring, then kicks Elastic's right elbow. Elastic groans, lets go of the ropes, then falls onto the floor. Elastic's eliminated, said announcer number 2. Saffron is kneeling on the mat. Willow spins around, then goes for a jumping side kick to Saffron's head. Saffron ducks. Willow lands face first onto the mat. Saffron stands up, pulls down her right knee pad, then does a bicycle knee onto Willow. Willow groans. Saffron picks Willow up, then throws her over the top rope. Willow lands onto the floor, then continues holding her jaw. Willow's eliminated, said announcer number 1. Mantra spears Onyxis, then goes to spear Blue Rose. Blue Rose jumps onto the second rope. Mantra goes into the ring post, then groans. Blue Rose jumps onto the mat, grabs Mantra, then lifts her over the top rope. Mantra lands onto the ledge of the ring, then punches Blue Rose. Blue Rose groans. Mantra goes to punch Blue Rose again. Blue Rose blocks, grabs her arm, then hangs it off the top rope. Mantra groans, then holds her right arm. Blue Rose pushes Mantra. Mantra falls off of the ledge of the ring. Mantra's eliminated, said announcer number 2. Desire kicking Venus in the corner. You're not better than me. None of you on that stupid show are better than me. I'm better than all of you. Not one of you could eliminate me, said Desire. Venus stands, then lifts Desire over the top rope. Desire holds onto the top rope, pulls herself up onto the ledge of the ring, then punches Venus. Venus falls onto the mat. Desire starts to go through the middle rope. Tempest runs, then dropkicks Desire. Desire falls onto the floor. Desire's eliminated, said announcer number 1. Wildflower appears behind Tempest, grabs her from behind, then throws he over the top rope. Tempest lands onto the floor. Tempest's eliminated, said announcer number 2. Blue Rose kicking Saffron. Saffron is groaning. Blue Rose picks Saffron up, then runs towards the ropes. Saffron reverses it, then throws Blue Rose over the top rope. Blue Rose lands onto the floor. There goes Blue Rose, said announcer number 1. Saffron turns around. Venus does a reverse roundhouse kick onto Saffron. Saffron goes over the top rope, then hangs onto the top rope. Venus grabs Saffron's legs, then throws her over the top rope. Saffron lands onto the floor. There goes Saffron, said announcer number 2. We're down to a 2-on-1 situation, said announcer number 1. Wildflower punching Onyxis. Venus approaches Wildflower, then turns her around. Wildflower kicks Venus's stomach, runs, bounces off of the ropes, then does a swing neckbreaker onto her. Venus groans. Wildflower grabs Onyxis's head, runs towards the ropes, then throws her over them. Onyxis lands onto the ledge of the ring. Wildflower approaches Onyx's. Onyx's goes to shoulder block. Wildflower's stomach. Wildflower moves, kicks Onyx's chest, then does a swinging neckbreaker onto her. Onyx's falls off of the ledge of the ring, then lands onto the floor. We're down to a 1-on-1, said announcer number 1. I can't wait to see who wins, said announcer number 2. Wildflower picks Venus up. Venus appears limp. Wildflower points. For hatred slam, said Wildflower, running towards the ropes. Venus reverse it, then throws Wildflowers over the top rope. Wildflower lands onto the floor. Bell dings. Here's your winner. Team Blood Rumble, said announcer number 3. Venus is laying on the mat, then slowly stands up. Referee number 1 raises Venus's right arm. Venus is smiling. Wow, that could have went either way. And even though they had less people, Hatred Slam still came out victorious, said announcer number 1. I'm so surprised at that too, said announcer number 2. Well folks, we now turn our attention to our main event, with both shows' male competitors competing against each other, said announcer number 1. Bell dings. This match is scheduled for one fall, and is a show versus show battle royal. Now the first team to eliminate all the members of their opponent's team will win. Introducing the challengers first, Team Hatred Slam, and their opponents, Team Blood Rumble, said announcer number 3. Bell dings. All the men start attacking each other. A group is attacking Earthquake. Earthquake is leaning against the ropes. The group lifts Earthquake over the top rope. Earthquake lands onto the floor. There goes Earthquake, said announcer number 1. It's just like the Women's Battle Royal, because they went after Taz, and these guys went after Earthquake, said announcer number 2. The Crippler is punching Beast. Beast is groaning. The Crippler kicks Beast's stomach, then starts punching his back. Beast continues groaning, lifts the Crippler onto his shoulders, then does a cyclone onto him. The Crippler lands onto the floor. There goes the Crippler, said announcer number 1. Wrathhog knees Barrage's stomach, grabs his head, then throws him over the top rope. Barrage lands onto the floor. That's for costing us our match, said Wrathhog. The Hood kicks the Scout's stomach, then runs towards the ropes. The Scout reverses it, then throws the Hood over the top rope. The Hood lands onto the floor. There goes the Hood, said announcer number 1. Domino is punching the Clam. The Clam is groaning. Domino lifts the Clam onto his left shoulder, then walks towards the ropes. The Clam grabs the top rope. Domino tries throwing the Clam over the top rope. The Clam lands onto his feet behind Domino, then lifts him over the top rope. Domino lands onto the floor. I guess Domino ain't lucky, said announcer number 2. The Hyena is holding Puppeteer on his right shoulder, then tries throwing him over the top rope. The Stalker pulls Puppeteer off the Hyena's right shoulder. The Hyena turns around. The Stalker kicks the Hyena in his testicles. The Hyena groans. The Stalker grabs the Hyena's head, runs, then throws him over the top rope. The Hyena lands onto the floor. There goes the Hyena, said announcer number 1. Yeah, that's what you get. Who do you think you are? Messing with Hatred Slam, huh? Asked the Stalker, turning around. The Void kicks the Stalker in his testicles. The Stalker groans. The Void grabs the Stalker's head, runs, then throws him over the top rope. The Stalker lands onto the floor. Well, ain't that ironic, said announcer number 1. He had it coming to him, said announcer number 2. Perfection clotheslines Thunderbolt. Hellfire grabs Perfection by his throat. Perfection kicks Hellfire's right knee. Hellfire lets go off Perfection. Perfection dropkicks Hellfire. I've never seen Perfection do a dropkick, asked announcer number 1. Boycott punches Perfection. Perfection looks at Boycott, kicks his stomach, then lifts him over his head. No, 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 said Boycott. Perfection throws Boycott onto the floor. Boycott groans. There goes Boycott, said announcer number 2. Morphose throws Puppeteer over the top rope. Puppeteer lands onto the ledge of the ring. Morphose is punching Puppeteer. Puppeteer is swaying on the ledge of the ring. Slayer hits Morphose's back. Morphose groans. Slayer whips Morphose. Morphose reversed. It knees Slayer's stomach, then throws him into Puppeteer. Puppeteer falls off of the ledge of the ring, then lands onto the floor. There goes the true Puppeteer, said announcer number 1. The Void punches Genie, then bounces him off of the ropes. Genie gets lifted, then does a head scissors onto the Void. The Void rolls onto the mat, then stands up next to the ropes. Genie stands up, then runs at the Void. The Void lifts Genie over the top rope. Genie lands onto the ledge of the ring. The Void runs at Genie. Genie's shoulder blocks the Void's stomach. The Void groans. Genie jumps over the top ropes. The Void catches Genie onto his left shoulder, then tries throwing him over the top rope. Genie lands onto his feet behind the Void. The Void goes for a back elbow. Genie ducks, then drop kicks the Void. The Void goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. Well, I guess he couldn't avoid that elimination, said announcer number 2. The Governor spears Pain, spears the Clam, spears Perfection, spears the Cataclysm, spears Genie, spears the Punisher, spears Beast, then goes to spear Drake. Drake jumps over the Governor. The Governor goes into the second turnbuckle. Groans, holds his shoulder, then stands up. Drake dropkicks the Governor's back. The Governor goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. The Governor is eliminated, said announcer number 1. Tank picks up a limp Genie, then walks towards the ropes. Slayer runs, pulls Genie, then tries lifting Tank over the top rope. Tank is holding onto the ropes. Genie is slowly moving, stands up, then lifts Tank. Tank goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. And quat. Thank you and quat. Very much. Tank, said announcer number 2. The Punisher is punching the Scout. The Scout is groaning. The Punisher picks the Scout up, sets him up for a suplex, lifts him, does a brainbuster, stands up, then turns around. Quake grabs the Punisher by his throat, runs, then throws the Punisher over the top rope. The Punisher lands onto the floor. The Punisher is eliminated, said announcer number 1. Hercules bounces Pain off of the ropes, lifts him up over his head, then walks towards the ropes. Perfection grabs Pain's legs, then pulls him down. Hercules turns around. Both Pain and Perfection run, then double clothesline Hercules over the top rope. Hercules lands onto the floor. Hercules is eliminated, said announcer number 2. Heckler punching the Cataclysm. The Cataclysm is swaying on the ropes. Heckler runs, then bounces off of the ropes on the opposite side of the ring. The Cataclysm lifts Heckler onto his right shoulder, then does a power slam onto him. Heckler groans. The Cataclysm lifts Heckler up, then throws him over the top rope. Heckler lands onto the floor. The Galaxy champion has been eliminated, said announcer number 1. Wrathhog knees Drake's stomach. Drake groans. Wrathhog throws Drake over the top rope. Drake is holding onto the top rope, then pulls himself up onto the ledge of the ring. Wrathhog bounces off the ropes on the opposite side of the ring, then knocks Drake off the ledge of it. Drake lands onto the floor, then rolls onto it. Drake's eliminated, said announcer number 2. Perfection runs, then throws Wrathhog over the top rope. Wrathhog lands onto the ledge of the ring. Perfection kicking Wrathhog. Wrathhog is swaying, then punches. Perfection punches Wrathhog, then kicks his stomach. Wrathhog groans. Perfection reaches for Wrathhog. Wrathhog hangs Perfection off the top rope. Perfection turns around. Thunderbolt dropkicks Perfection. Wrathhog pulls down the top rope. Perfection goes over top rope, then lands onto the floor. Thunderbolt turns around. Beast lifts Thunderbolt onto his shoulders, then does a cyclone next to the ropes. Thunderbolt lands onto the floor. Both Genie and Slayer are kicking the Scout. The Goon attacks Slayer. Slayer is groaning. Genie hits the Goon's back. The Goon groans. Both Genie and Slayer are lifting the Goon over the top rope. The Scout approaches, then lifts all 3 of them over the top rope. Both Slayer and the Goon are holding onto the ropes. Genie lands onto the floor. Genie's gone, said announcer number 1. Slayer punches the Scout, then kicks the Goon's stomach. The Goon groans. Slayer clotheslines the Goon back into the ring. Quake grabs Slayer by his throat. Slayer hangs Quake's right arm off the top rope. Quake groaning, then walks away. Slayer pulls himself up. Quake runs at Slayer. Slayer pulls down the top rope. Quake goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. Slayer is smiling, then rolls back into the ring. Wrathhog lifts the Hurricane. The Hurricane lands onto his feet behind Wrathhog. Wrathhog turns around. The Hurricane does a back kick to Wrathhog's stomach. Wrathhog groans, then falls to his knees. The Hurricane bounces off of the ropes, then does a jumping neckbreaker onto Wrathhog. Wrathhog groans. The Hurricane picks Wrathhog up, then throws him over the top rope. Wrathhog lands onto the ledge of the ring, then punches the Hurricane. The Hurricane groans. Wrathhog sets the Hurricane up for a suplex, then lifts him. The Hurricane is squirming, lands onto his feet inside of the ring, then hangs Wrathhog off of the top rope. Wrathhog groans, then holds onto the middle rope. The Hurricane stands up, then does a back kick to Wrathhog's head. Wrathhog falls off of the ledge of the ring, then lands onto the floor. Wrathhog, you're gone, said announcer number 2. Chaos hitting Slayer's back. Slayer is groaning. Chaos kicks Slayer's stomach, grabs his head, then points. You're out of here, said Chaos, running towards the ropes. Slayer reverse it, then throws Chaos over the top rope. Chaos lands onto the floor. Chaos is eliminated, said announcer number 1. Slayer is leaning against ropes. Sergeant runs at Slayer. Slayer pulls down the top rope. Sergeant goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. Sergeant is gone, said announcer number 2. The Hurricane does a back kick to the Goon's stomach. The Goon falls onto his knees. The Hurricane runs, then bounces off of the ropes. The Goon stands up, then does a back body drop onto the Hurricane. The Hurricane lands onto the mat, groans, then pulls himself up with the ropes. The Goon bounces off of the ropes on the opposite of the ring, then clotheslines the Hurricane over the top rope. The Hurricane lands onto the floor. The Hurricane is eliminated, said announcer number 1. The Clam runs at the Goon, then clotheslines him and himself over the top rope. Both the Clam and the Goon land onto the ledge of the ring. The Clam punches the Goon. The Goon is swaying, then punches the Clam. The Clam groans, then kicks the Goon's stomach. The goon groans. The clam sets the goon up for a powerbomb. The goon flips the clam. The clam lands onto the ledge of the ring, groans, then holds onto the bottom rope. The goon is kneeling on the ledge of the ring. The clam slowly pulls himself up. Grimace clotheslines the clam in the back of his head. The clam falls off of the ledge of the ring, then onto the floor. There goes the clam, said announcer number 2. Hellfire grabs Beast by his throat. Beast moves Hellfire's right arm, lifts him onto his shoulders, then does a cyclone onto him. Hellfire groans. The bodyguard grabs Beast by his throat. Beast moves the bodyguard's right arm, then lifts him onto his shoulders. Dear Lord, look at the strength of Beast, said announcer number 1. Beast does a cyclone onto the bodyguard. Both Beast and the bodyguard groaning. The goon picks Beast up. Beast lifts the goon onto his shoulders, then does a cyclone onto him. The goon groans. The scout hits Beast's back. Beast lifts the scout onto his shoulders, then does a cyclone onto him. Beast is taking care of business, said announcer number 2. He's destroying Blood Rumble's wrestlers, said announcer number 1. Grimace appears on the second rope, jumps off, then goes for a crossbody. Beast catches Grimace in his arms, lifts him onto his shoulders, then does a cyclone onto him. Grimace groans. Morphose hits Beast's back. Beast staggers, then turns around. Morphose's eyes widen, then he goes to run. Beast wraps his arms around Morphose's waist, then does a German suplex onto him. Morphose groans, then pulls himself up with the ropes. Beast is watching Morphose, waiting, then runs at him. Morphose pulls down the top ropes. Beast goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. Beast has been eliminated, said announcer number 2. Oh my God, said announcer number 1. Pain picks the goon up, then lifts him into his right shoulder. This is an easy elimination now, guys, said Pain, running towards the ropes. The goon holds onto the top rope, then pulls Pain over it. Pain lands onto the floor. Pain is gone, said announcer number 2. The bodyguard slowly stands up, then leans against the ropes. Slayer, the Butcher, and the Cataclysm lift the bodyguard over the top rope. The bodyguard lands onto the floor. That's probably the easiest they've ever had to eliminate the bodyguard, said announcer number 1. Morphose runs at all 3 of them. All 3 lift Morphose over the top rope. Morphose lands onto the ledge of the ring, stands up onto it, then punches Slayer and the Cataclysm. The Butcher clotheslines Morphose. Morphose lands onto the floor. Another one gone, said announcer number 2. All 5 are attacking all 3 of them. Havoc knees the Butcher's stomach. The Butcher groaning. Havoc bounces the Butcher off of the ropes, then bends over. The Butcher kicks Havoc's chest. Havoc groans, then runs at the Butcher. The Butcher lifts Havoc over the top rope. Havoc lands onto the floor. Havoc has been eliminated, said announcer number 1. The Butcher is leaning against the ropes, then states at Havoc. Grimace runs at the Butcher, then lifts him over the top rope. The Butcher's lands onto the floor. There goes Hatred Slam's champion, said announcer number 2. Both. The Scout is hitting Slayer's back. Slayer is groaning. The Scout bounces Slayer off of the ropes. Slayer holds onto the ropes on the opposite side of the ring. The Scout runs at Slayer. Slayer lifts the Scout over the top rope. The Scout lands onto the ledge of the ring, then punches Slayer. Slayer staggers backwards. The Scout jumps up. Slayer dropkicks the Scout. The Scout lands onto the floor. The Scout's eliminated, said announcer number 1. Grimace and the Goon are punching the Cataclysm, then bounce him off of the ropes. The Cataclysm double clotheslines both Grimace and the Goon, picks Grimace up, lifts him onto his right shoulder, then does a power slam onto him. Grimace groans. The Cataclysm picks the Goon up, lifts him onto his right shoulder, then does a power slam onto him. The Goon groans. Hellfire chokeslams Slayer onto the mat, then turns around. Both Hellfire and the Cataclysm are staring at each other. "Here's a fight," said announcer number 2. Both Hellfire and the Cataclysm start punching each other. The Cataclysm bounces off of the ropes. Hellfire lifts the Cataclysm, then does a sidewalk slam onto him. The Cataclysm groans. Hellfire stands up, goes through the middle rope, then climbs up the turnbuckle. The Cataclysm slowly stands up, then turns around. Hellfire jumps off of the top rope, then does a flying clothesline onto the Cataclysm. The Cataclysm groaning, then slowly stands up. Hellfire grabs the Cataclysm by his throat. The Cataclysm pulls Hellfire's right hand off of his throat, lifts him onto his right shoulder, then does a power slam onto him. Hellfire groans. "What? Power by the Cataclysm," said announce number 1. The Cataclysm pulls himself up with the ropes. Both Grimace and the Goon are hitting the Cataclysm's back. The Cataclysm is groaning, then lifts both Grimace and the Goon over the top rope. Both Grimace and the Goon are holding onto the top rope, then pulls themselves up onto the ledge of the ring. The Cataclysm reaches for both Grimace and the Goon. Both Grimace and the Goon hang the Cataclysm off the top rope. The Cataclysm holding his throat, then turns around. Hellfire grabs the Cataclysm by his throat, then runs towards the ropes. Both Grimace and the Goon pull down the top rope. Hellfire throws the Cataclysm over top rope. The Cataclysm lands onto the floor. "We're down to a 3-on-1, said announcer number 2. "How will Slayer overcome these odds?" asked announcer number 1. All three are looking at Slayer. Slayer is looking around. Both Grimace and the Goon are attacking Slayer. Slayer is groaning. Both Grimace and the Goon throw Slayer into Hellfire. Hellfire grabs Slayer by his throat, lifts him, then chokeslams him onto the mat. Slayer groans. "There's no way that Slayer is gonna win," said announce number 2. Slayer pulls himself up with the ropes. Hellfire runs at Slayer. Slayer pulls down the top rope. Hellfire goes over the top rope, then lands onto the floor. Oh my god! He eliminated Hellfire. "He might have a chance," said announcer number 1. The Goon runs at Slayer. Slayer lifts the Goon over the top rope. The Goon lands onto the ledge of the ring, then grabs Slayer. Grimace punches Slayer. "Hey, bounce him off the ropes. I'll springboard myself into the ring," said the Goon. Grimace bounces Slayer off of the ropes. Slayer reverses it. Grimace bounces off of the ropes. Slayer throws Grimace into the Goon. The Goon falls off of the ledge of the ring, then lands onto the floor. "Slayer could win this," said announcer number 2. Grimace is holding his head, then groans. Slayer is waving at Grimace. Grimace stands up. Slayer runs at Grimace. Grimace lifts Slayer over the top rope. Slayer lands onto the ledge of the ring, then hangs Grimace off the top rope. Grimace groans. The Goon grabs Slayer's left leg. Slayer is kicking the Goon. The Goon falls onto the floor. Slayer looks at Grimace, then jumps up. Grimace quickly jumps up, then kicks the left side of Slayer's head. Slayer falls off the ledge of the ring, then lands onto the floor. Bell dings. "Here's your winner, Team Blood Rumble," said announcer number 3. Blood Rumble beat Hatred Slam. "I can't believe it. We both thought that Slayer had it," at the end there. But somehow Grimace pulled it off, said announcer number 1. I'm in shock. Once I saw Hellfire get eliminated, I thought they had no chance. But Grimace proved me wrong, said announcer number 2. Well, congratulations to Grimace on the victory for Team Blood Rumble. And look, here comes his fellow wrestlers, said announcer number 1. Blood Rumble wrestlers are sliding into the ring, then are hugging Grimace. That's so wonderful, said announcer number 2. Well, folks, we want to thank you for watching. Be safe out there and good night, said announcer number 1. Bye-bye, said announcer number 2 waving. Grimace gets lifted onto the cripplers and the governor's shoulders. The end.